Hello everybody, welcome to Bike Like a Dog. Be sure before you leave to hit that subscribe button so you can join our community and see all my really great content on golf carts. Golf cart. Why is there a golf cart here? Why in the world am I doing something on a golf cart instead of a motorcycle? This is about motorcycles, right? Well, actually there's two reasons. First is that this golf cart actually plays a prominent role in today's conversation, and the second one is, well, my Z500 is still in the shop as the insurance company, and the shop kind of negotiate the charges on fixing my bike. The good news is that the insurance company decided not to total it. Before I get in here and take off, I want to let y'all see something right quick. This is the golf cart parking lot at one of the local high schools. Yeah, golf cart parking. This is going to also prominently figure in. I'm going to take the sides down on this golf cart. I used them on the way over. It's kind of chilly. It's the day after Thanksgiving and our temperature has dropped a lot, so I'm wearing a little bit heavier coat and everything so I can take the sides, put the sides up and give a better view. I am going to leave the windshield up, however, because there'll be less wind noise in this Bluetooth device. So while I'm doing that, I'll just throw in a picture of what the golf cart parking looks like when it's full, and then we'll get back after we're underway. All right, so we're back. We're ready to go. And the reason I started here is because if you've watched any of my other videos, you may have noticed that there are a lot of golf carts that I pass as I drive around. The reason for that is that in our community, we have over 100 miles of golf cart paths. So you can get anywhere in town on a golf cart, including, obviously, the high school. People around Atlanta will laugh when I tell them where I live because they'll kind of go, yeah, right. So do you have a golf cart? And I look at them and I go, well, yeah, everybody's got a golf cart because you can get anywhere in town on a golf cart. There are tunnels under the major highways or bridges over them. You can get anywhere. And in fact, when you're 12 years old, kids can start driving a cart with a licensed adult 18 or over. When they get 15 and get their learner's permit, they can drive a golf cart on their own. So as a result, freshmen in high school can take a golf cart to school. And that's why we have such a huge golf cart parking lot. In addition to that big old lot, there's probably 30 or 40 golf carts that park across the street because there's not enough parking at the school and they couldn't get a permit. That will increase over the course of the school year as kids turn 15 and start driving a cart to school. So, yeah, you can get anywhere here. And my son started driving the golf cart to school when he was 15, which was great. He could get to school, he could get to and from his sports practices, he could get to his friends' houses, he could go meet them at restaurants, they could caravan around. And in fact, a couple of his sports teams would do scavenger hunts on golf carts because they had the ability to do it, which was great because as you can imagine, a scavenger hunt, you've got teenagers driving around, it's going to get kind of crazy, and probably best you don't have a bunch of teenagers piling into cars and flying all over the city for a scavenger hunt. So anyway, the funny thing is, when he turned 16, A funny thing happened. Or I guess I should say it didn't happen. He was not all that interested in getting a driver's license, which kind of floored me because when I grew up, getting your driver's license at 16, that was kind of your rite of passage, right? That was your ticket to freedom. That was you lived for that when you were 16. But he wasn't all that interested. He could get to his friends' houses. He could meet them places. They could go to restaurants. They could do whatever they wanted. He already had that freedom. And then I discovered that, my daughter, she's about to turn 16 now. And same thing. She is not really interested in getting a driver's license. Or at least there's no hurry about it. And I've talked to other parents, and they've said that, they saw the same thing in their kids. There just wasn't a rush for most of them. And that's kind of what started leading me into today's topic about why aren't there more people riding motorcycles today? I know I still hadn't tied it in. Be patient. Be patient. I will. But as I said, my son saw absolutely no reason to need it. And I get it. It's scary, right? I mean, you see what it's like driving on the golf cart paths here. I've passed, 2 carts. I might pass somebody walking a dog. Oh, look, there's one of the tunnels under the roadway there. You might pass a couple of golf carts here and there. You might pass the people walking. Yesterday was a big day for people walking. It's a little cool out today, so there aren't quite as many people out and about. But there are certainly going to be some as we tool along here. You can see some golf carts parked, and you can see over at the Chick-fil-A the golf cart parking. And I'm going to tool right up here for just a second. And you can see that, hold on. As we go along here, you can see, right there along the sidewalk, that's golf cart parking. Oh, look, an electric bike store. And right on down here, there is also a golf cart dealership. How appropriate, because sometimes we will run into people riding electric bikes. So e-bikes are pretty big right now, right? And I think biking in general got pretty big during the pandemic, and e-bikes certainly have taken advantage of that. In Georgia, a Class 1 or Class 2 e-bike is limited to 20 miles per hour. And they can go on golf cart paths like this, or bike paths, or something like that. There is no other restriction other than they can't go more than 40 miles an hour. That means that if you have a Class 1 or Class 2 e-bike if you've got one that'll go 20 miles an hour, you have the same access to everything that I have on this golf cart right now. You can get anywhere in town just like I can on this golf cart at 20 miles per hour, which is what the golf carts go. That is really significant because an e-bike, you can get a bike, fairly cheap one, a budget one I would say, for about $1,000. You can get a pretty good one for somewhere between, I'd say, $2,000 to $4,000. You can get a good one. And then if you want one that's like mountain biking or something like that, they're like $8,000 or something. But yeah, for $2,000 to $3,000, you can get an e-bike and you can go all over town here. Well, I think an e-bike is to motorcycles what this golf cart is to a car. Right? It's freedom. It's for someone who can't drive yet. It is the freedom to go all over town. And let me go to the next step, because a class 3 e-bike, which is one that will go faster than 20 miles an hour, in Georgia, you must be at least 15 to ride one. No other requirement, no license or anything like that. Just got to be 15. And you have to wear a helmet, a bicycle helmet. So like a Schwinn helmet that you can get for like, I don't know, $20, $25 will be just fine. And that's pretty much the end of your outlay of costs, right? And now I start bringing this back around to motorcycles. Well, first let's talk about, get back to my son for a second, and his reluctance to get a license. He thought he had all that freedom, but I think, I kind of call it a false sense of freedom. It is the freedom to go and do things that you want, and with your friends and everything, 20 miles an hour and all. But he didn't understand the bigger picture. He couldn't see the bigger picture. He didn't know what it was. He was limited by knowing what he could and couldn't do on a golf cart. Once he got his driver's license and drove his car a couple of places, that was it, right? He never got on the golf cart again. Because only when he got in that car and started driving did he understand how much his scope expanded, how much his world expanded. For example, there are no movie theaters in our city. It's just outside the city limit, and there's no way to get a golf cart to it. Well, now he could go across there in a car. He could go to other restaurants that were farther away. He could go, and he could get there in air-conditioned or heated comfort, which is especially important if you have a date. On your left. This is kind of like ADVing, right? Yeah, I get to see parts of town that you can't see in a car. I get to see this beautiful golf course, and we're coming up on a little picnic area up here, and a little bridge and brook that's just really pretty. So it's kind of like ADVing. Had to cut that part out because it has children in it, and don't want to do that. And you can see we got a little picnic area right here, and we go across this little bridge and everything, and got a pretty little creek here and everything. If you're in a car, man, you don't even know this exists. Okay, back to matters at hand. You may have noticed there's also a community, kind of like with motorcycles, where you kind of wave and nod to other people. So, just something to mention. Anyway, once he got on that in the car and driving, that was it. No more golf cart. And I think that it's kind of the same thing. I think it's kind of the same thing with e-bikes. E-bikes, it's a great way to get into getting around on two wheels. It's inexpensive, and for a couple $1,000, you can do so much more. You've got so much more range than riding on a bicycle. Where you're having to pedal. Because you can see even here. Well, you probably can't tell in the camera, but it's pretty hilly, and if you're trying to ride this on a bicycle, it's a lot of hills. But on an e-bike, that'll get you where you need to go. That'll help you get up and down these hills and everything. And now let's talk about if you live in a community where, let's say it's an urban setting, right? Where, and let's face it, no place is going to have golf carts like we got them, or very few, I should say. Very few places are going to have golf carts the way that we do. But you could still do an e-bike. You can still get an e-bike for just a couple of $1,000s. You don't have to get a license. You've got virtually no maintenance. You've got no costs to speak of. It's a very easy in. On the other hand, in order to get into motorcycling, just a basic learning motorcycle, and I consider, I mean, you can get something that's like 125 cc's, but really, for around where I live, the highways that we have and stuff like that, really to get around, I think you need at least a 300cc bike to get around. So I went just for chuckles last night and kind of doing my research for this. I looked on Cycle Trader to see nationwide what kind of bikes were available and what their price range was. And what I found was that an MT-03, Yamaha MT-03 or an R3, and Ninja 300. I also looked at a Ninja 400 and a Z400, which is like my Z500, the naked version of the Ninja 400. I just pulled those because the reason I chose those was because they're widely available. Japanese bikes have greater availability and more dealership coverage than a lot of the other bikes like Aprilia, KTMs, BMWs, stuff like that. And they're typically less expensive than a Honda of the same size. Hondas tend to be just a tad more pricey. And Suzuki, which really doesn't have that much in the class. Then I think those bikes are representative. All right. And what I found was that the sweet spot was they started around $3,000, and there were a number of bikes available between $3,000 and $4,000. Now there were some available for a little bit more, but let's just say right now it's $3,000 to $4,000. I'll just call it $3,500. We'll hit the middle and call it good for now. So you want to get a beginner bike, even a used one, you're going out and spending $3,500. Then if you want to, you got to get a license. Well, if you want to do that the right way and take an NSF course, that's going to be, in Georgia, $325. Now, other states, I understand that other states there's no charge or there's a lesser charge or something, but in Georgia, it's $325. If you take it at your local Harley dealership, which is where most of the classes are. So you got that. Then you have to wear a DOT approved helmet. I went on RevZilla last night and looked up the least expensive full face helmet. The full face helmet, it was cheaper than the cheapest modular helmet, and I didn't bother with half helmets or a little bumpy spot there. I didn't bother with half helmets or 3/4 helmets because there's not enough protection there. You can get a half helmet for like $50. But a full face helmet, there was an LS2 for $100, brand new, and there you go. That would get you on the road. But then you also have to get insurance, right? Yeah, nobody has to insure an e-bike. So you got to get insurance. That's going to run you what, $50, $75 a month, maybe. If you get a more expensive bike, you may be looking at $100 a month. And you got to put oil and gas. You got to put gas in that thing. Okay, so now that's a little more expense on a weekly basis now, because if you're riding around, you got to keep feeding the beast. So the entrance cost for a motorcycle is higher. But the freedom is so much more than a bicycle. Just like the car was so much more than the golf cart. But you can't know that until you ride. Until you're actually riding a motorcycle, you can't really understand how much more freedom it gives you, how much more fun it is. The greater range, the greater speed, quite frankly, but just everything about it, so much more. Just, and I'll just leave it hanging there, so much more. I didn't realize that thing had fallen down. Lovely. How, got a pinched nerve. Ooh, it started happening about a week after the accident, so I don't know that it was part of the accident, but I mean, I'm old. Things start breaking. Okay, so here you can see motorcycle or golf cart parking. There we go. Golf cart parking, better even than the handicap parking, right? So you have to be on a bike to appreciate it. That means it's up to us as kind of ambassadors, if you will, for motorcycling. It's kind of up to us, there's the target, to help people understand the difference between doing it or a motorcycle. And especially people in urban areas, you know, they can get an e-bike and they can take it up to their apartment to charge it, carry it up the stairs and all that kind of stuff. You can't do that with a motorcycle. But if you hear of somebody that's planning on buying a mountain e-bike for $8,000 or something, you might suggest to them, hey, you know what? You could, why don't we stop by the local motorcycle dealership and let you take a look at some 125 and 250cc dual sports. Because you can take those things out on trails just like you do your mountain bike, except instead of having to put it in a carrier on the back of your car to drive it to wherever you're going to ride, then get it off and then go ride and then get back in your car, come back, put it back on your car. You can just ride it to wherever you're going, and then when you get there, get on the trails. And you know what? You can do it for about half the price. You want to grab a 125 or 250cc dual sport, you could probably get one for a couple of $1,000 used. You could get a brand new one for $3,000 or $4,000. Because it's up to us to kind of shine the light and help others see what it means to bike like a dog. Y'all, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Ride safe, be careful as we get into the holiday season, because people start thinking about what they're going to buy and where and how to get in and out of the shopping center. They're distracted and they are not looking for you. Remember, nobody sees you. Just repeat that to yourself when you're getting on your motorcycle. Nobody sees me. Okay? Y'all have a great week, and hopefully next time I'm on here, well, it'd be nice to have a motorcycle, but I'm just not sure I'll get it back before Christmas. Meanwhile, have a great day, y'all. Go Dogs. Bye.